Good afternoon, sir. What's your name?
My name is Jack Burkholz.
What's your name?
Jack Burkholz.
Okay, which case are you here on?
The theft from Jurgen's piping for the catalytic converters.
Okay, very good. All right, I'm gonna put you in the waiting room. Thank you for coming over to the courthouse.
Hope you don't.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Are you Austin Shaw?
Yes.
Which case are you here on?
I'm right now. I'm walking out to my car. I left my papers in the car.
Did you get a subpoena?
No, I had a court date for today. Thank you.
Well, all right. Why don't you, it's not.
Sorry about this.
It's not for right now. So whatever you can find will be helpful.
No?
Well, go and get your stuff.
Look, I'm about to grab the papers right now. All right. It says a hearing will be held on 5/4/2021 at 1 p.m. A prelim hearing.
All right, Mr. Shaw. Stay right where you are. I'll find out what's going on. Now, I've got property. Who's your attorney, Mr. Shaw?
What I think happened was, my attorney is, trying to. Sorry about that. Is it Miss Hines? Oh, see, I just gotten a bunch of court papers mailed to me for some reason. Yeah, Lori Hines.
You haven't bothered to contact her?
No, I think what happened was my old court papers got mailed with the new court papers. Because I had a hearing on the 27th, I believe it was. And I waived my prelim.
Oh, I think you're done already.
And then I was scheduled for sentencing or something, but my phone, last time my phone had cutting out, left a bunch of dying.
You're set for sentencing on May 24th.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so I have those papers right here in front of me. I wasn't sure. These must have been old papers that were just mailed along with it.
Yeah, you waived prelim. You're bound over to circuit court. You have a last pretrial on a driving suspended charge in June. You're not set for this afternoon, Mr. Shaw. I suggest that you contact your attorney. Your waiver of preliminary examination took care of this date.
Oh, okay. See, that's where I got met. Oh, that was just a misunderstanding then, because I got my old papers with my new papers, so I apologize for that. I've got the new papers in front of me as well.
All right, well, no need to apologize. Just my suggestion is you contact your attorney and stay in better touch with her.
All right, will do.
All right, you're good to go. I'll release you.
All right, thank you so much.
Property room, which case are you here on?
Hi, Your Honor. It's Officer Fuller from Clears Police Department. I'm here for
Yeah.
Russell Jones.
All right. To give you a proper name. Property room. All right, Officer Fuller, thank you. I'm going to put you in the waiting room. Deborah Davis is about to check in here. I'm not clear what our game plan is, so I'll bring you in a minute.
Sounds good, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, Laura, we're in for a,
Said we shouldn't have to listen to the sexual assault testimony.
yeah, I hope not. I'll put Mr. McNutt in the waiting room. All right, we're about ready to roll here. Your phone's playing some country western song.
Goodness. I had muted that thing.
All right, we got lots of people in here. Let's bring some of them in. Good afternoon, everyone. We have a very full slate, and I'm not sure what our game plan is, so give me a minute to get things situated here, and we'll start to address that. All right, thank you. Mr. Barnes, thank you for being here. You're kind of the tail of the dog here. Let's, oh, Mr. Hauser was here too. Let me bring him in. Joey, you bring him in. Good afternoon, everyone. I've brought all the council in. This is Tuesday, the 4th of May, here at 3B District Court. We have a number of matters set for preliminary examination today. I don't have a good handle on what our game plan is. Prosecutor Deborah Davis is here on behalf of several of the cases. Nora Geiger from Branch County is here with us once again. She's been making a lot of appearances on behalf of St. Joe County cases. She is here, I believe, on Teresa Jones. Is that correct, Nora?
That's correct.
Teresa's got the felony case, possession of one bullet, as I understand it. And then she's got several misdemeanors, which are ordinance cases involving Luke Knopfinger, who isn't here with us. She's got the felony file, which has been languishing while we've been waited for a special prosecutor to be appointed. And that is file 202679. She also has multiple misdemeanor charges of ordinance and state statute, a disorderly person in file 202421, which is Mr. Barnes, squatting, malicious destruction of a building, and illegal entry, file 201678, which is Luke Knopfinger, state statute, which is now yours, Nora, and file 201604, which is state statute and special prosecutor. So, Mr. Barnes, I think you've only got the one disorderly case.
Yes. And it's my understanding she was going to plead to that, and I was going to recommend no jail.
All right. Luke's not here. Nora, have you had a chance to talk to Luke?
I did at the last pretrial we had on her 2 misdemeanor cases, and I had communicated a kind of a global resolution between the felony and the misdemeanor cases with him. I believe he had indicated that Mr. Barnes wanted her to plead to the disorderly from the city as well. I told him we could kind of work that in if we needed to. That was the last time I had talked with him, was the last scheduled pre-trial.
Well, stay put. John, I don't want to make you stay on this feed. You can just go on about your business.
All right,
If
thank
she-
you.
I'll let you know if she isn't.
Call me if you need me.
All right,
But,
thank you.
Last I talked to Luke was around a week or so ago. He said there was a package plea deal with Ms. Geiger, and it included a guilty plea to my city case.
All right.
So I
let's see.
don't know what he was going to do with the rest of them, but I think mine should be taken care of.
All right, very good.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
All right,
Luke is on the record in circuit court right now, so I'm assuming he'll be done soon.
okay. We've got Attorney Matthew Hauser here for Quentin McNutt. Mr. McNutt is in the waiting room. That is a St. Joe County case. The facts are from October of 2019. What's the status of that case, Deborah?
Your Honor, at this point, we are going to nolly the case. We are not able to get in touch with the complaining witness after multiple attempts by the police department, the sheriff's department, and our victim advocate office. We had contact with him prior to the last prelim. We adjourned it because he was going to be in Florida, and we have not had any contact with him since. So at this point, we're going to do a nolly on that.
Well, let me bring
case.
Mr. McNutt in. Mr. Hauser, I'm assuming you have no objection to that.
There will be no objection, Your Honor. That is correct.
Good afternoon, sir. Are you Quentin McNutt?
Yes, sir.
This is Judge Middleton. I don't think we've met. I'm here at the courthouse in Centerville. Your lawyer, Mr. Hauser, is on the feed with us, and prosecuting assistant Deborah Davis. This is another in a series of hemp theft attempts we had here in St. Joe County in the fall of 2019. The file number is 20702. This matter's been adjourned a couple of times, but Ms. Davis had represented on the record that this matter is going to be dismissed because they can't make contact with a complaining witness. Is that correct, Ms. Davis?
That's correct. We'd also released Mr. McNutt's father, who was one of the witnesses, because he had a medical appointment that he had been waiting for quite some time. So with those two situations going on, we felt it appropriate to nolly the case at this point.
All right, I'll wait for the nollie. Mr. McNutt, that means your case has been dismissed without prejudice. I suppose theoretically it could be reauthorized if there was a groundswell to start it over again. I don't think that's going to happen, but I don't know. Dismissal without prejudice means it could be re-brought. If it does happen, you're not going to get rearrested. They'll simply do a re-notice. But I think at this point, this case is done. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
All right, if you do, take them up with your lawyer, Mr. Hauser, and he can answer anything that I can't. All right, you're free to go.
Thank
All right, Mr. Hauser, thank you. You're free to go also.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Well, okay, I'll do the best I can. Thanks. You guys are going to make the rest of my day enjoyable. All right, that's one down. That leaves us with Mr. George and Mr. Gibson. Mr. George has Taylor Matthews, who's in the waiting room. Tim, what are we going to do with that?
Your Honor, Taylor's going to be a waiver on the record.
All right, well, let's bring him in.
We don't have any objection to that, Your Honor. Can you also bring in the conference room at the court? The witness for this case is in there.
Yeah, that's Mr. Burkholz.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Matthews. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. I was going to have to turn sideways to see you because your phone was sideways in this way. But anyway, you're right side up now, so we're on the same plane. Your lawyer, Mr. Tim George, is here with us, as is Prosecutor Deborah Davis. And this is the time and date set for a preliminary examination in this matter on a charge of malicious destruction of property and larceny from a motor vehicle. Those are both felony offenses. A preliminary examination is a hearing where it must be established that probable cause exists to show that a crime was committed, probable cause that you did it. You don't get found guilty or not guilty at a preliminary examination. It's just a determination of whether there's enough evidence to bind the matter over to circuit court for further proceedings. Your lawyer, Mr. George, has advised us that you're going to waive the preliminary examination in this matter and have the matter bound over to circuit court. Is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, let me read you the language. I want to make sure you understand what you're doing here. I don't have any objection to this, but I want to make sure you understand. Some of this I already told you, but let me read it. I, Taylor Dale Matthews, understand I have a right to employ an attorney. I may request a court-appointed attorney if I'm financially unable to employ one. I have a right to a preliminary examination where it must be shown that a crime was committed and probable cause exists to charge me with the crime. I voluntarily waive my right to a preliminary examination and understand that I will be bound over to the circuit court in the charges in the complaint and warrant. Is that what you wish to do?
Yes.
Mr. George, you agree?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'll accept the waiver. The prosecutor accepts that. It'll be set for a status conference in the circuit court on the charges in the complaint and warrant. Mr. Matthews, we've had a rush of these catalytic converter thefts here locally and nationwide. I'm not sure where this one's headed, but it'll be bound over to the circuit court. You posted a $5,000 PR bond, which is fine with me. Do you still live out on Marcellus Road?
Yeah.
Are you employed somewhere?
Yeah.
Where do you work?
At Hank's Tavern on the River.
All right. Used to do trivia in there before it was Hank's. I haven't been in there since COVID hit, but how are they doing there?
They're kind of struggling, but they're making it.
All right, well, this matter is bound over to the circuit court. You stay in contact with your lawyer, Mr. George. He's not going anywhere. If you change your address or phone number, make sure you let your attorney know that. Mr. Burkholz, this matter is completed. You're not going to have to testify. The defendant waived his right to have the examination, and the matter is bound over to circuit court for further proceedings. I assume they'll try to negotiate some settlement with a plea. If not, the matter can be set for a trial at some point in the future. So is he excused, Ms. Davis?
Yes, thank you for being here, Mr. Burkholz.
Thank you.
All right, you're free to go, and if you have questions, stay in contact with the prosecutor's victim advocate.
Very good.
Mr. Matthews, do you have any questions for me?
No.
All right, don't get in any more trouble till we sort all this out, and stay in contact with your lawyer, and maybe I'll come visit you at your restaurant when things settle down a bit. All right, you're good to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. George. Is that your only other case, Tim?
That's it. I'll leave
All
you
right.
guys to it.
Okay, well, we'll do the best we can. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
I lost
Thank you, Debbie.
Paul.
I was to say, did you kick Paul out accidentally?
Well, possibly. As you know, the things jump around, and sometimes I go to hit a button, and I've got a few people here that I don't know who they are. So let's struggle through that. Nora, thank you for waiting with us.
I can make sure that they're not any of our witnesses. I know that we had sent a letter with the date in the Zoom info to Mr. Schmidt on the McNutt case, so maybe.
Well, we've got LG Stylo 6.
Did I miss Joshua Waterman?
We're not there yet.
Okay, that was Tim's case.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That one was sent for a forensic.
Nobody told us.
There was a stipulation in order for the forensic that was done.
Laura, would you see if you can run that
Yeah, I
down?
believe that's.
LG Stylo 6. Good afternoon. I'm not sure what I'm looking at. Looks like I'm inside of a space station. That's Miss Jones. Tressa? Teresa, your lawyer is in with Judge Stutzman right now, and we're waiting for him. I'm going to put you in the waiting room, so don't go away, all right? All right.
I don't know if it didn't get changed, but it is.
Where is the stuff? Now, let's see who this is. Good afternoon. Who am I speaking with?
This is Lyle Smith.
All right, Mr. Smith, this is Judge Middleton here at the court in Centerville. They were having trouble finding you. We've already dealt with your case. What I'd ask you to do is a little later this afternoon, call into the prosecutor's office.
Okay.
All right. You're good to go.
Oh,
all
okay.
right.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, call them. Thank you.
Okay.
Maybe we should have found out who that was before you dismissed the case, but I didn't realize that he was there. All right, so who we got in the waiting room was Anthony Fuller and Teresa Jones. Waterman, I didn't realize what was what. That is a forensic eval. And that leaves us with Teresa Jones. Is that
That's
all we
it.
have left?
Yeah, that's it for me. So Nora, it's all you. Good luck.
Well, what case was Paul Gibson on?
He's on Teresa Jones's case. He represents her in the felony case.
Well, I thought Luke had everything.
No, unfortunately, Luke has the misdemeanors, but
Paul's still a
Paul was
counsel of
assigned
record.
to the felony.
Good luck, guys. Have a good afternoon.
Thanks. Bye, Barbara.
We'll call you every 5 minutes to see if everything's all right.
It's a good plan. I'll be working.
What is
See you
Luke
again.
doing in circuit court?
There was a plea, is what Marissa from our victim advocate had
Well, and
texted
I'm
me.
not sure what happened to Paul. I don't think I kicked him out, but I won't say I didn't. Let me bring him back.
I'll let
All
you
right.
guys figure it out. Thank you, though. See you guys.
I'll tell you, we'll call you every 15 minutes.
Good. That's better. Much better.
Okay, thank you. Nora, it took a long time to get a special prosecutor on this, and you got so many St. Joe County cases. We do appreciate your help.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, it looks like the felony is relatively new, but looks like the 2 misdemeanors are quite old.
But where's the stuff? The stipulation and everything? Well, we'll get it.
Okay.
All right, we'll get Mr. Gibson. He is back. Here he is. Welcome back, Paul. I'm not sure if I accidentally removed you or what happened, but you're back now. We're going to address the Teresa Jones cases. Mr. Paul Gibson represents Teresa at the felony case, and Mr. Barnes had a prosecution of an ordinance, and Mr. Knopfsinger has the misdemeanors, and he's in circuit court. Paul, Teresa is here. I understand that Nora's trying to make some sort of global plea offer to resolve everything. Have you been made aware of that?
I don't know. What would be the offer for the felony? Because I think, I don't know that she was asking for an exam. If it was a felony, I don't know if she'd consider a misdemeanor.
The offer I had made was to count 1, but dismiss the HAB 4s, but kind of included in that and I apologize, Mr. Gibson, if I didn't give you the global offer as well. So it would be plea to count 1 in the felony file, dismiss the HABs. In Luke's 2 cases that he represents are on, one would be a plea to an assault and battery, dismiss the other charge, and then the other one would be a plea to illegal entry with a dismissal of the 2 other charges in that case.
And then Mr. Barnes's ordinance disorderly.
Correct. Yes, and then a plea to the disorderly.
So the possession, as I read the affidavit, she had 1 .22 caliber bullet in her pocket. That's the basis of the facts for the felony charge?
I believe that's in the affidavit, but in the report there indicates that there was more ammunition, just not on her person.
I see. Well, she wants a preliminary examination on that. Officer Fuller is here. Let me bring both of them in.
I could always, before we start, I can go over the global plea offer just to make sure she understands that, she's rejecting the plea offer by having the prelim.
All right. I understand. Well, she's very good at appearing, and this case has been dragged out for quite some time. Teresa, can you unmute your microphone?
Yeah, okay, I got it. Yeah.
All right,
afternoon.
good afternoon. I just mentioned before you turn your sound on, you've been very good at appearing in all your court proceedings. You had a existing working relationship with your previous attorney, Mr. Marvin, on some earlier cases, and then, as you know, Mr. Marvin was elected as prosecutor and could no longer represent you. Because he was elected prosecutor, he also couldn't prosecute your case. So Nora Geiger from Branch County has been appointed, her boss, Mr. Stempian, and they're handling the prosecution of all the cases except one for Mr. Barnes. The felony case that Mr. Gibson represents you on is possession of a firearm by a felon as a fourth habitual offender. You also have a disorderly person charge from the city of Three Rivers, a squatting, malicious destruction of a building, illegal entry in another case, and larceny 200 to 1,000 and assault and battery. Let me repeat the plea agreement as I understand it. In file 201604, the special prosecutor would dismiss the larceny charge for a plea to assault and battery. They would dismiss the squatting charge and the malicious destruction of a building for a plea to illegal entry in file 201678. And I know something about this case, I think, unless this is a completely separate circumstance. Maybe there's a different house. At any rate, there was a house on State Street that you and I had a bunch of discussion about. Anyway, they would dismiss squatting and malicious destruction for a plea to illegal entry. You would plead to the disturbing the peace charge, and Mr. Barnes would recommend no jail in file 202421. And on the felony charge, felon in possession of ammunition, the prosecutor would dismiss the habitual, which would leave a felony punishable by up to 5 years imprisonment and a fine of up to $5,000. And in that matter, you'd have to waive the preliminary examination. I'm going to put you in a breakout room so you can discuss this with Mr. Gibson. We're still waiting for Mr. Knopfsinger to join us, but let me put you in a room and I'll let you talk to Mr. Gibson and then we'll catch up with you in a few minutes.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Officer Fuller, you're here on that case. While they talk, I'll put you back in the waiting room. Thank you.
No problem.
And Nora, you and I are just here. I had such a busy afternoon. Things have kind of fallen by the wayside. The forensic in Waterman, which was a troubling case. Waiver in Matthews. Nolly-Pross in the other case. So we've got all afternoon if we need it, but we'll see. My sense is she's not going to accept this plea offer, but we'll see.
Okay.
Now, connected to your case on the same time and date, 12/4, 12/5, she got a ticket for driving suspended and no insurance. Do you know what happened to that?
I don't, and that's interesting because that is I read that in the report, but I don't have a case for that, so I don't know if that went to if that would have went to the city as well.
It was written under state statute.
Okay.
It sort of morphed into this felony charge. I think it has the same, let me see if I can find it. I don't know what happened to it.
It does look like the original investigation report indicated the possession charge as well as a driving while license suspended and other.
Well, it didn't get authorized. I think it's got orphaned. I think it came in as a ticket and prosecutor authorized a felony, didn't charge the traffic matters.
Yeah.
So I don't think it exists. All right, while they're waiting, I'm gonna take these other files out. See if we can find the paperwork on that Waterman. Stop the record. I will be right back. Or I'll put you in the waiting room too, so you don't have to sit here on the screen.
Okay.
I'll be with you shortly.
can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like I say, I know that we want to have a preliminary exam in this case. I just wanted to make sure, just because the judge will probably so the case, her offer for the felony was to dismiss the habitual offender notice. So I guess I just wanted to clarify that you are charged as a fourth habitual offender. So if you get convicted as a fourth habitual offender, the penalty for this could be up to life in prison. It says life if the primary offense has a penalty of 5 years or more. So, but you know,
I didn't even know it was a habitual.
That's just what the maximum is. So I mean, you know,
Yeah, I didn't even know they had an habitual offender clause up there, and I'm not a habitual offender, so none of this stuff applies to me. So if it doesn't apply to me, I'm really not worried about it. Like, I know for a fact, like, I didn't possess any ammunition.
Okay, well,
Teresa,
don't talk about the facts.
We're not on the record, but we're live on YouTube right now, so these are things you don't want to really be discussing. I stepped out of the courtroom to track down the Waterman file.
Sorry, Your Honor.
So let's bring in the people again.
I'm pretty sure that's not.
All right, got things straightened out. Back on the record. All right, Mr. Gibson's had an opportunity to meet with Ms. Jones. I left the room, shut the recording off, came back in, and they had returned. And I'm not sure what happened while I was gone, but everybody's back now. I got from the gist of it, Ms. Jones, that you're not interested in waiving preliminary examination on that felony charge. Is that correct?
No, Your Honor.
And you wish to have your preliminary examination in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Geiger, are the people ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Gibson?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Well, let's call the case. This is file 202679. It's entitled People of the State of Michigan versus Teresa Lynn Jones. Teresa. It started as a traffic ticket, driving suspended and operating without security. And frankly, I don't know what happened to that. The prosecutor then, through somebody, let's see where's going to authorize this, authorized a felony complaint that authorized possession of ammunition by a felony as a fourth habitual offender. And that is 2679. Originally charged by Joshua Robert, and apparently I don't know what happened to the ticket. The complaint is a date of 12/4 of 2020, and the ticket is 12/5 of 2020. And frankly, I don't know where that is. But anyway, the felony component, if bound over, I will simply send the misdemeanors with it. Teresa, possession of ammunition by a felon is punishable by up to 5 years imprisonment and a fine of up to $5,000. They allege that you had several previous felony convictions on March 9th of 2018, on October 17th of 2014, and on September 12th of 19. So that makes it a punishable by, I believe, up to life imprisonment. Do you understand the charge?
Yes, sure.
Give me one moment here. I gotta get into a different database. All right. Ms. Geiger, are you ready to proceed?
I am, Your Honor.
All right. I assume your first witness is going to be Officer Anthony Fuller.
Yes, Your Honor.
Officer Fuller, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do, Your Honor.
Thank you. Would you state your name for the record, please, and spell it for us?
Officer Anthony Fuller. Anthony is spelled A-N-T-O-N-Y. Fuller is F-U-L-L-E-R.
Thank you. Ms. Geiger?
Thank you. Officer Fuller, where are you currently employed?
The City of Three Rivers as a police officer.
And back on December 4th of 2020, were you employed by the Three Rivers Police Department?
Yes, I was.
And on that date, were you dispatched to a domestic assault complaint?
Yes, I was.
And what was the address, if you can recall, of that assault complaint?
605 8th Street in the
Thank
City
you.
of Three Rivers.
Okay, thank you. And you said City of Three Rivers?
Correct.
And is that in St. Joseph County?
That is.
And as part of that complaint investigation, were you given information regarding a suspect vehicle?
I was.
And what was the description that you were given?
The description of the vehicle provided by the caller stated that the suspect left in a gold Grand Marquis car with no license plate.
Okay. And did you, subsequent to that dispatch, did you observe a vehicle that matched that description?
Yes, I went to the area of the call searching for the vehicle, and I located the vehicle about 4 blocks away from the original address.
Okay. And when you observed that vehicle, did you then make a traffic stop?
I did.
And what was the reason for the traffic stop originally?
A reasonable suspicion under the fact that the suspect possibly is inside that car from the domestic.
Okay. And once you made the traffic stop, did the vehicle stop?
It continued around the corner and parked into a driveway on 6th Street.
Okay. And once the vehicle was stopped, did you make contact with the occupants?
I did.
Was there one occupant or more than one?
There's 2 occupants in the car.
And who was the passenger of the vehicle?
Passenger of the vehicle was a Michael Harris James, who was a suspect in the DV.
Okay. And who was the driver of the vehicle?
Teresa Lynn Jones.
Okay. And had you had previous contact with Miss Jones?
I have.
Okay. If you were to see Miss Jones again, would you recognize her? Can you identify her for the record, please?
She is wearing a black and white speckled t-shirt with a strap for over her shoulder. Her hair is up in a ponytail and she has dreads.
Your Honor, if the record could reflect identification of the defendant.
It may.
And after you stopped the vehicle, did you have contact with Miss Jones?
I did.
And what was your original contact with her?
My original contact, when I came up to the vehicle during the traffic stop, was to make contact with both occupants who I identified the suspect in my DV as the passenger. I know Miss Jones did not have a driver's license. While trying to detain Mr. James, I was led on a foot pursuit that he was later arrested for, came back to the scene and had contact with Mrs. Jones.
Okay.
When I had contact with Mrs. Jones, she was less than cooperative at that time, very combative in the fact that I told her to get out of the car. She was under arrest for driving suspended.
Okay. And at that time, you said you had previous knowledge that she didn't have a license or a valid license. Did you confirm that?
I did. I had dispatch run her through lean, and that was, they told me.
Okay. And when you ran her information or had dispatch run her information, did you learn of any other violations of the vehicle code?
Yes, the vehicle was not insured when I ran the VIN of the car, and it wasn't registered at all either.
Okay. Was Miss Jones subsequently placed under arrest for those violations?
She was.
And did you conduct a search of her person subsequent to arrest?
I did.
And did you locate anything on her person?
In her right pocket in her jacket, we located a small caliber bullet.
Okay. And did you complete a records check on her regarding her criminal history?
I did.
And did you learn anything from that regarding or related to finding the bullet on her person?
Objection. I believe that there hasn't been a foundation laid as to what he would have checked. I don't know what she's referring to.
Well, she's charged ultimately with possession of ammunition by a felon. I guess he's asking if you checked to see if she had any previous felony convictions.
Yes, Your Honor, I apologize. I maybe asked a combination question there. I can ask them separately to clarify.
All right, that'd be helpful.
Officer Fuller, did you run a lien check or a background check on Miss Jones?
I did.
And what did you learn from that background check?
That she had previously been convicted of felony. I believe one is obstruction or resisting arrest, and the other one was an unarmed robbery case. Sorry.
Okay. And was there anything in the records check that indicated that she had regained her ability to possess firearms?
No.
Thank you. And subsequent to her search of her person, did you do a search of the vehicle?
Yes, we did.
And did you find any other items of evidentiary value in the vehicle?
Yes, under the driver's seat where Miss Jones was, we located a magazine that also contained small caliber rounds in it, matching the round that I found on her person.
Was there a gun located in the vehicle?
Objection and move to strike. I don't believe a foundation was laid for the witness saying that the bullets in the magazine would have matched the bullet that was found in her pocket. I don't believe he explained how he could have compared those, so I don't believe a proper foundation was laid for his answer.
Well, it's certainly appropriate for cross-examination, but I'm not sure a foundation, but you can inquire as to how he determined that it was similar to the other bullets. Go ahead, Ms. Geiger, why don't you inquire as to that?
Okay. The magazine of bullets that you found in the car, did you personally compare them with the bullet that was found on her person?
I did.
And how did they compare on your examination of them?
They're the same caliber bullet, and they were also the same brass casing was on them. They're also all center point, non-hollow point ammunition.
Okay.
What was the caliber?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Did the bullet in her pocket match the bullets in the magazine?
Yes, it did, Your Honor.
How many bullets were in the magazine?
I'd have to refer to my report to get an exact answer.
All right. Ms. Geiger, you may proceed.
Thank you. Your Honor, actually, based on the officer's testimony, I don't believe I have any further questions.
All right, thank you. Mr. Gibson? Well, he asked if a gun was found, and he never was able to answer the question. So, was a gun found in the vehicle?
Not in the vehicle, Your Honor.
Or anywhere else?
There was a gun found.
All right, but there's no gun found in the vehicle. All right. All right, Mr. Gibson?
So, can you refer to the report then and refresh your memory to tell me what caliber the bullet was that you found?
I don't have a caliber listed. The model of the gun was a PT-25, 22 ammunition, would be my best guess.
So you had mentioned that you had experience with this suspect before. Had you also had previous contact with Michael Harris James?
I have.
And to your knowledge, is he also a convicted felon?
Yes, he is.
Did Michael James appear intoxicated that evening?
He did.
Did you give him an alcohol test or anything along those lines?
I did not.
Do you know if any other officer did?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Was Mr. James upset about anything?
No, he was pretty tired of the foot pursuit. He was not very cooperative in questioning.
So, my understanding is you were responding to a domestic violence call, is that correct?
That is correct.
And was there any other information about it? I mean, was Michael James the suspect in the domestic violence?
Yes.
Was there an indication as to who the victim was in the call that came in?
The victim is a resident that lives at 605. That is Latricia Foster, and that is Mr. James' ex-wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife, is what I understood.
Did you search Mr. James?
Yes, we did.
Do you know what was found on his person?
On his person was some cash and a lotto ticket, is what I remember.
Was there a point when you strike that, when you first arrived and first came in contact with the defendant, Teresa Jones, was she wearing a jacket?
Best knowledge, yes, she was.
At some point in time, did you or Teresa Jones go into the trunk of the vehicle to get a jacket?
I don't recall that.
So what was your first, were you the first one to make contact with this vehicle?
I was.
And so did you approach the driver's side window?
I approached the passenger side window.
The passenger side window?
Correct.
And you believe that the defendant, Teresa Jones, was wearing a jacket when you approached the passenger window?
I believe so, yes.
Do you know what color the jacket was?
I don't recall. I believe it was like a gray or green.
Was it a heavy winter jacket? Was it a jean jacket? What kind of a jacket was it?
I'd say it was a seasonal jacket.
You mean a thick winter jacket?
Yes.
Do you know how many pockets the jacket had?
I know there were two on each side from the outside.
So there were at least 4 pockets on the jacket?
There was at least 2.
Did that vehicle belong to Mr. James?
According to lien, it still belonged to the previous owner that lived in White Pigeon.
At any point, did you determine who was supposed to be in control of that vehicle? Do you have any knowledge as to whether it was a vehicle that Mr. James had gotten or a vehicle that Ms. Jones had gotten?
I believe that Mr. James stated that he bought the vehicle.
So other than saying that there was a magazine found under the passenger seat, you have no other...
Strike that.
Was
the magazine found under the passenger seat or the driver's seat?
The driver's seat where Teresa Jones was sitting.
Oh, strike that. I meant, other than finding the magazine under the driver's seat, was there anything else about finding the magazine that made you think that Teresa Jones ever controlled that or knew that that was underneath the seat?
The bullet in her pocket that matched the same caliber and description.
And do you have that bullet?
I do.
Did you make any other comparisons after your initial comparison?
Can you rephrase that question?
When you said that you had compared the ammunition found in the pocket with the magazine that was found, when did you make that comparison?
When I searched her person because she was under arrest, I located the small caliber bullet. When we were searching the vehicle, we located the magazine underneath her seat, the driver's side seat. I was able to take both of them and look at the caliber bullets and the magazine, and seeing that the bullet that was in her pocket and the magazine that was full of bullets matched in the same description as a brass casing and all non-hollow point, center point shot.
Have you ever been qualified before a court as an expert in the area of firearms or ammunition?
No.
So, was there ever a follow-up to determine if that was correct? Or did you, when you were done with this call, and did you just put, in a sense, have the evidence saved and have never gone back to look at it again?
That is correct. I haven't reviewed the evidence since.
Do you believe you're qualified to be able to determine the caliber of the bullet that you claim you found?
That's up to the court if I'm.
Excuse me?
That's up to the court if I'm qualified for that. I work with one every day, so.
Is it true that you weren't capable of able to determine what caliber bullet that was?
In my report, I do not list the caliber.
So do you believe that you're not capable of determining the caliber?
At this time, no.
So if you're not qualified to be able to determine the caliber of a bullet, how are you qualified to be able to compare one bullet to another bullet and determine that they're the same?
Visually, they look the same.
Did you find anything else illegal that day at the scene, either in the vehicle or on any of the other occupants?
There was some open intox in the vehicle and a marijuana pipe.
Did it appear that, from what you saw, that Mr. James was most likely out, I guess you could say, partying? He appeared to be drinking and smoking marijuana?
I'd say he was under the influence.
Did he ever say anything about that? Do you recall if he stated that he was drunk?
Yes, he did state that he was drunk.
Was he trying to explain what had happened with this alleged domestic violence situation?
He tried to tell me that he wasn't even at the house, that he was out on River Road where the defendant had picked him up from.
In your investigation, did you find anything, or did you have any reason to believe that Teresa Jones was intoxicated when you confronted her that day?
I don't believe so. I did not find anything on her person. She did not smell of alcohol.
So as far as you know, she wasn't under suspicion for drinking and driving or anything like that?
Correct.
So other than what you've already testified to, can you give me any other thing you witnessed that day that gave you reason to believe that Teresa Jones knowingly possessed that ammunition in her pocket?
No.
Did she say anything like that would have been incriminating, such as, you know, admitting that she knew the ammunition was in her pocket?
No, I tried to interview her afterwards and she did not wish to speak with me.
So she didn't make, from your memory, any incriminating statements that day?
Like I said, she did not wish to speak with me.
Did she at any point tell you that she had just purchased a coat from Burlington Coat Factory?
I don't recall.
How long do you think you were there at the scene investigating when you were at the, you know, when you found the vehicle?
Hour and a half, maybe.
So from the time, so you estimate from the time that you and any other officers arrived to the Mercury Grand Marquis and confronted Mr. James and Teresa Jones, you estimate that you were on the scene there investigating this for approximately 1 hour to 1.5 hours?
To the best of my knowledge, we were at least there for an hour to an hour and a half.
How long do you think you were there when you found, how long had you been there, excuse me? Would you estimate how long you had been there when you had then first found the ammunition in the pocket of the coat that you allege you found in Ms. Jones' coat?
I was there investigating. I made contact with the vehicle. I was led on a foot pursuit, so I had to take care of that incident and came back to the vehicle where other officers were there on scene with Teresa Jones. At that time, we arrested her for driving suspended and we searched her person. That might have taken 25 minutes total, so the time that I came back to the scene to confront Teresa Jones.
Did you search her entire person then? You just, more than just her pocket, did you pat her down to make sure that she didn't have any weapons or anything like that? And did she have anything on her other than that ammunition that could be considered contraband or illegal?
No.
And she didn't have a firearm on her then, correct?
Correct.
So how long was it that had gone by from the time that you arrived? Do you think that when they found an actual firearm?
We were on scene for at least an hour. Once you find ammunition, you usually believe that there's a gun involved. The passenger of the vehicle that led me on a foot pursuit, we located a firearm near where we arrested him.
But in this investigation of Teresa Jones and Mr. James, it's my understanding that at some point you did find a firearm, is that correct?
Correct.
And where was that found?
It was found where Mr. James was arrested at nearby, at least 20 feet from his person.
Do you know what kind of firearm it was?
It was a small PT-25 handgun. It was silver in color with a wooden handle.
Do you know what caliber ammunition that gun used?
I do not. I believe it's a 22.
Was that firearm also collected as evidence?
Yes, it was.
So just for clarification, all the items that were found, the firearm, the ammunition in the pocket, the magazine, all of those items were secured and taken in by you or the other officers as evidence in this case, and those are available. They should still be available to be inspected. Is that correct then?
Correct.
Do you have any knowledge if anyone determined if the firearm caliber would have matched the magazine and the ammunition caliber?
To my knowledge, no.
To what?
To my knowledge, no.
Okay. All right.
Let me ask
I have
this
no
now.
further questions.
All right. Let me ask this while it's relevant. Did the magazine match the gun?
It did not.
All right, Ms. Geiger, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Let me ask a couple questions. Was the magazine preserved for prints?
It's here in our evidence, but I did not fingerprint it, no.
Is there a video of this preserved?
Yes, there is, Your Honor.
Mr. Gibson asked you a question about whether she got a jacket out of the trunk. That could be quite relevant. If that did happen, would that be on the video?
It could be on the video, yes, please.
I'm a little confused, and I'd like to straighten this out if we can. This occurred on either the 4th or 5th of December of 2020. The felony complaint alleges that this happened on February the 4th. Did you then issue a citation to Ms. Jones at 1:45 on the morning of the 5th of December?
Yes, I did.
And that was for driving suspended and operating without security?
Correct.
So part of it was charged before midnight as December 4th, and then the driving was charged after midnight on December 5th?
Correct.
But if she did you stop her before midnight?
Yes.
All right, so it'll be the 4th or 5th. All right, does that raise questions for anyone else?
No, Your Honor.
Just one question. You'd said there should be a video of this, so would that be, what type of video are you thinking? Is it body cam video or is it the dash cam? Which video are you referring to?
It'll be my body cam video, I believe, along with dash cam video as well.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Ms. Geiger, anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Gibson, do you wish to present any evidence?
No, Your Honor.
Motions?
Your Honor, I would simply ask, based on the testimony of Officer Fuller, that you bind over the defendant on the count as charged in the complaint. Based on his testimony, he did a search subsequent to arrest for the driving while license suspended, found ammunition on Ms. Jones's person, then subsequently found more ammunition in the car underneath the seat that she had been occupying in the vehicle. He also ran a background check and learned based on that information that Ms. Jones had previously been convicted of a felony and did not have the rights to possess ammunition or a firearm. So based on that testimony, I would ask that the court bind over as charged in the complaint.
Mr. Gibson?
Your Honor, the defense will leave this in the discretion of the court, but the defense would point out that this does appear to be, I guess you could say, a specific intent crime, and the prosecution has to show probable cause that the defendant knowingly possessed this item. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Jones, this is a pretty straightforward charge. They allege that you did possess ammunition because when you were ineligible to do so by previous felony convictions. This is a relatively new statute. It was unlawful to possess a firearm if you'd been convicted of a felony, and some few years ago they added ammunition. So there's two sources of ammunition. One is the single small caliber bullet that was found in the pocket of the jacket that you were wearing. Two was a magazine with some undetermined number of similar bullets under the seat that you were sitting in. Let's talk about the magazine under the seat. It's not your car. It's not registered in your name. Mr. James said it was his car and he bought it from somebody. He ran away, and near where he was found, they found the gun that matched that magazine. So frankly, there's not much evidence that you knew the magazine was under the seat in the car. You were driving it. There's no reason to believe you would have known that the magazine was under the seat. It wasn't your car. You didn't possess the gun. And the gun was found with Mr. Harris James. So the magazine doesn't get it. I don't find there's probable cause to believe that you own the magazine. If I do, I just don't. Someone may disagree, but there wasn't fingerprinted. We don't know whether your prints were on that magazine. It was simply under the seat you were sitting in someone else's car. He was drunk and you weren't. So I'm glad you were driving and he wasn't. All right, then the other question is this bullet in your pocket. You have one small caliber bullet in your right pocket. Mr. Gibson asked a question as to whether that jacket was pulled out of the trunk. That in itself isn't evidence. The question isn't evidence. It raises a question. Officer Fuller didn't deny it, but also he didn't confirm it. That would be important to me, whether she got this jacket out of the trunk and put it on, but that's not an evidence.
Your Honor,
Teresa, don't say
I
anything.
apologize.
Go ahead.
I didn't hear it. My screen keeps blanking in and out. I'm sorry, Your Honor, for interrupting.
All right. Can you hear me? I can still. All right, there you are.
It went out, like my whole video went down for like a long period of time. And then the waiting room came back up and then it came back to you.
All right. I was talking about the bullet in your pocket of the coat you were wearing. All I know from the evidence is that she was wearing a coat. They searched the pocket incident to arrest, and there was a bullet in the pocket, small caliber bullet. So presumably it's her jacket, she's wearing it, there's a bullet in it, she would have reason to know it was there. We're talking about a just probable cause standard. So this is very skinny, one bullet. Ms. Jones does have previous felony convictions, which I don't need to make a clear finding on that, but there is evidence pled that she had previous felony convictions here in St. Joe County, and I've known Ms. Jones for many years here. So by a small margin, I find there's probable cause to believe that this defendant did possess one bullet. Now the ticket kind of got lost in the mix. I'm going to have the traffic charges of driving suspended and no insurance as counts 2 and 3 of this felony complaint, and they can be bound over all in one encompassing complaint, Ms. Geiger, if that's what you wish me to do.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Luke, while you were in circuit court working on other matters, there was a discussion about the global plea offer in this case, and Ms. Jones wasn't willing to accept the felony portion of it. So that was not accomplished, and we went into the preliminary examination. Mr. Barnes was with us for that record. So the 3 misdemeanor cases are still out there, and you represent her on those. You've been all over it, so you've been on top of those. But at this point, they're not resolved as part of this bind over. So we've got this one bullet case bound over to circuit court, and Ms. Geiger now owns 2 of those cases. Mr. Barnes owns the other one. Well, let's see if we can further discuss those at a pretrial conference. We're going to set that out quite a bit. Wow. I think all the way to July 2nd. Set attorney pretrial for those for 7/2/21 at 9. And perhaps June 4th, I'm gone. June 18th is Judge Pattison's last pretrial date. It's already quite full. So Tressa, I want you to stay in contact with both of your attorneys.
Okay, Your Honor, can you repeat what day that court date was on?
That will be July 2nd at 9 o'clock on those misdemeanor charges. That's a long ways away, but it's the next available first Friday of the month.
Okay.
Are those misdemeanor charges that other attorneys can't have, not the ones I have?
I think that
Mr. Nostra, I think, has all the misdemeanors. Now, let's see, because there's some other stuff in here. Let's see.
Well, I know that I had 2 connected to the felonies, but those are up now in circuit.
Yeah, those are with the felonies. Yes, those are other cases.
Okay.
All right. Anything further we should place on the record?
Nothing further from me, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, Tressa, you've done a good job of staying in contact. You've gotten confused because you had so many different cases.
Yes.
There's 3 misdemeanors plus this one. I know you've never absconded or gone anywhere, but you have missed some court dates. So stay in contact with both lawyers. Are you still at Maple Crest?
No, Your Honor.
All right, are you at 4th Street?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that's the correct address. Do you have any questions for me?
No, I just want to say thank you.
All right, we'll release you from the record here. Officer Fuller, you're free to go. I would suggest you try to retrieve those videos. Prosecutor's probably going to be asking for those, and Mr. Gibson's going to want to see them as well. Okay, anything further?
No, sorry for being late.
Well, you don't need to apologize. I understand you were caught in a difficult case in circuit court.
Yeah, it was-
Mr. Gibson carried your freight for you while you were doing something else, so we did what we needed to do.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Officer Fuller, you're good to go also.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, I believe that completes our record and completes our day. So I'm gonna stop the live feed. And if something else comes up, I didn't have a Polycom or anything else that they
Not that I'm aware of.
All right.